Well, welcome to the Bakersfield Model Yacht Club Soling 50 Championships for 2011. We're at Ming Lake this morning, which is up to the northeast of Bakersfield. The wind has been up and down a little bit. It's about 6 knots or so. It's died out at times. It's shifted 180 degrees at times. So this is going to be some exciting sailing. I am the red boat, which has got a red stripe on the jib, and I'm going to kind of walk you through our races in the championship. We're going to have 14 races today. Kind of walk you through my narration, my comments as these races start. We're going to do the starts, and we're going to do the first weather leg, cover that, and then break off and go to the next race. My belief is that if you can get a good start and get to the weather mark in good shape, you're going to do just fine in the races. So I think that's where the lessons are learned, what I'm trying to gather out of these races. So we've got about 15 seconds until the start of the first race. All right, well, I'm at the far end of the line on starboard. 5 seconds till the start. There's the bell for the start.
There was a guy down there, I kept telling him.
I'm in pretty good shape. Again, red boat with the stripe on the jib. Got clear air. Right now I'm just trying to sail the boat fast. I'm watching the telltales. Walking along the edge of the shore, which is not very even. I'm using a camera that's velcroed on the top of my hat. It's a miniature camera. So the jerking you're seeing, excuse that, is as I'm walking along on this uneven grass on the edge. Trying to keep my eyes focused on the boat and make it go fast. You're seeing the yellow weather mark just come into view. I'm lifting up a little bit better than some of the boats down below me, but I don't have quite the speed that they do. And I just want to stay between my competition and my and the mark, and so I decided I could just luff up into the wind and get around. I lost a lot of speed in doing that, and now I'm jibing around and we're headed downwind. So in this case, we didn't have to tack to get to the weather mark. We made it basically in one tack, and I'm in pretty good shape. So again, I guess the lesson here is just get a good clean air start. Try to stay between the competition and the mark, which I was able to do. So let's go on to race number 2 here. Okay, this is actually race number 3. I missed one of the races with my video cam. I'm at the far end of the line. I wanted to be at that far end because it looked like we could almost lay the weather mark. So I'm trying to keep my air clear.
Richard, I think you're over.
Yeah, there was a boat over early. He's going back. Now I have clear air. Again, I'm the red boat with the red stripe. I've got starboard tack.
Starboard.
Air looks like it's getting a little bit on the light side here. There, it's filling back in. See the boat heeling over a little bit. I'd let the sails out just a touch to get the boat driving. I've got a boat up on my weather hip, and I would like to make sure I'm staying clear ahead of him. And if I could work up a little bit to weather, I could give him some bad air and slow him down a little bit, which certainly would be desirable.
Underweight boat.
So again, the yellow mark, weather mark, is coming into play. See that in the screen. Boat behind me is tacked off. I've decided to stay on the starboard because that was the close tack. Let's see what I'm going to do here. Well, again, as in the last race, I was able to luff up and just get around the mark.
Come on, boat.
And the wind has kind of gotten light here, and I'm changing direction about 180 degrees, so you lose all your momentum doing that. So the boat that was behind me, it took a wider rounding and actually came out in very good shape because he didn't change his direction 180 degrees. But again, I got around the mark in reasonably good shape, so I was pretty happy with that. Again, owing to a clear air start, good speed off the line. Okay, we're going to move on to race number 4 now. Okay, 20 seconds until the start.
20 seconds.
I'm working away on port tack. Again, most of the boats would like to be at the far end of the line. I've just tacked over onto starboard. 10 seconds till the start right now. I'm just trying to time that to have some way on and be at that weather buoy.
3, 2, 1.
Richard is just a little over. Not much.
Well, there was a boat over early again. He's going around the mark. Now you can see the wind has gotten rather light. My boat's hobby horsing a little bit.
There was wind. Yeah, I don't know what tack that was.
I'm on starboard, so I have right away, but you can see the wind has pretty much died out.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
And it's just a question of what direction is the wind going to come from when it fills back in.
6-5, I'm on starboard. The red boat is on starboard. Try harder.
So at this point, I'm looking up to weather, trying to figure out where is the wind on the water. Where's the wind going to come from? I've got a little way on, not very much. Boat's hobby horsing a fair amount, not great for speed.
Maybe we should have the brakes.
I'm looking down to see where I'm walking.
Yeah, it's still in the park.
And you can see a boat out on starboard, out in the lead. It's now gotten some nice air. It's filling in. Now the boats behind, including myself, are starting to fill in pretty well. And we're kind of off at the races here. So at this point, I'm just trying to sail the boat as fast as possible. Again, the water's a little choppy and a little on the light side, so I've got the sails loosened up just a touch, and I'm probably sailing the boat a little bit fuller than I normally would. I decided it was time to tack. The wind's pretty much died out. I'm going to just cross the starboard tacker.
Nicely done. You guessed right. It came from offshore. Yeah, I figured I would try.
Just trying to eke it out. Now, I'm off onto port, approaching the weather mark. Usually I don't like to do that because if you get into traffic, you don't have much right of way, but as you can see, there wasn't much traffic to worry about, so I'm just basically trying to look where the air's at, where the wind's at, and sail that. Now the boats behind me are on port tack. I'm on starboard, and I see what I'm going to do here. Well, the wind has given up again.
I have my helm all the way over, Richard.
And I'm basically, I was on port tack, and I was hailing
and
to
I'm
the
trying
boat.
to avoid you. That's what I'm saying.
The boat that's on starboard, I was telling him that I had my helm all the way over, and I just didn't have any steerage
At
way.
least let me hit you. You might turn me in the right direction.
This is not going to work out for me very well, by the way. The red boat, I don't have, the wind is so light, and it's a little bit of chop in the water, and I cannot get the boat around. So my alternative here is to fall off on port tack, actually sailing away from the mark to get some speed, kind of reach down a little bit, to get enough speed to be able to tack
Richard, the mark
through
is turning right now.
and get onto starboard.
It is. And it just turned back when he left it.
So this is a little bit brutal.
I do.
There's not much strategy here. This is just an issue of patience, trying to look around at the water to see where that wind's going to come in. I'm still working away from the weather mark. Okay, I've got a little bit of way on, and as soon as I did, I threw the helm over.
I think I got to wear about to get the boat headed in the right direction.
Okay, now at least I'm headed in the right direction. Needless to say, this is very painful at this point. I mean, it's relatively frustrating. And oh, by the way, this is Bakersfield. This is the summertime, and I'm going to guess the temperature's in the low 90s at this point, on its way to 102. I'm actually making some way here. Get myself around the mark. Get jibed over.
Hit it again.
Very well. Thank you, Richard. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, I always say.
The only good news is everybody else is in this hole as much as I
thought
am.
it was a 720 on Saturday.
Chris Steigers moved out to a very nice lead. He
Yeah,
did
going
get
the
around
other
the mark
direction,
before the wind died, and he's eking out a nice lead. By the way, these races are all one lap basically. We're starting between the start buoys, taking the weather mark to port, the leeward mark to port, and finishing at the start-finish line. So these are all one-lap races. Because they're so short, these races are lasting typically 7 or 8 minutes. Now this one's going to be longer because the wind's giving out. But it's in a short race like that, it is all about the start and getting yourself to the weather mark in good shape. There's not any time to make up any ground if you get in the second row or if you get buried at the start. Okay, well, enough for this race. We're going to move on to race number 5.
Hum, hum, hum.
20 seconds.
Okay, well, the wind died down pretty badly in the last race, so we've taken about a 35-minute break. We're back on the water now. We've got about 10 seconds until the start.
7,
The wind has shifted 180 degrees. Now it's behind us.
3, 2, 1.
It was kind of a downwind start, and now the wind has shifted behind us, so we're on a broad reach on port, now headed directly to the weather mark. And you see we got a little bit of wind on the water showing there. Boats are moving out. See a few little ripples coming out of the boats. We've got a nice lineup that makes a nice picture. As long as the wind holds, things are going to be okay. I think at this point we're all just basically heading to the weather mark, maybe just a little bit higher than it, just to make sure our air stays clear. Well, and I've got around the mark in pretty good shape. I tack, and now we're off on starboard with the broad reach. So I got pretty lucky in that start in getting around the weather mark. Now I've got to tell you, one of the things that we all discovered here at Lake Ming is that there's a lot of weeds floating, and even some plastic bags, which a couple of the competitors found. Later in this race, we're not going to cover it, but I picked up a good piece of weed, and basically my boat just stopped out there and watched everybody just sail right past me. Again, very frustrating, but you know, that's just a part of racing. Okay, well, that was race number 5, and let's go on to race number 6, see how that comes out.
Now I know I got something on my keel.
Oh, yeah, I've just realized it. My boat's just stopped. We've got good air on the water. You can see that nice puff coming there.
It just came to a stop.
The blue boat behind me is now accelerating fairly well, and he's just going to go streaming past me.
Shit.
Well, that's sailboat racing. Okay, well, this concludes this segment for the video. We're going to start a new video beginning with race number 6, starting up next.